What's going on, guys? Welcome to Belak Presents. Today we are looking at some... How bad my camera is. Today we're looking at some haunted houses, and afterwards we're going to play some Faz. I'm excited about the haunted houses. I want to see what you guys think about these. Actual haunted houses or houses that are probably haunted on Zillow? No, actual haunted houses. Yeah, we're not doing the Zillow thing today. As much as I love doing that. No, we're doing actual haunted houses today, or at least reportedly haunted houses today. We're going to be talking about this. It's going to be a good time. What's going on, by the way, Yurik? I guess now's probably the perfect time to jump into this. Let's jump into this thing, Okay, so to begin our string of haunted houses, we have to go all the way to California, which we were just talking about. How odd is that, dude? Located in none other than San Diego, which also we were just talking about. Maybe you've heard of the first house, but if you haven't, it's called, wait for it, the Whaley House. Bam, bam, bam. I couldn't find that sound effect. I really wanted that sound effect, but I could not find it on the interwebs. I'm sorry. I did not find it. I believe they built the house, but I couldn't confirm they built it or just moved into it in 1857. What they didn't know is that 5 years prior, in 1852, this guy, James Yankee Jim Robinson. Oh, actually, that's not him. That's not him. Sorry. Where is he? Is he over here? I don't remember. James Yankee Jim Robinson was arrested for stealing a boat in San Diego Harbor and charged with grand larceny. His punishment was that he was hung until dead in the gallows on the very land they had their house built on. While in the house, they would hear heavy footsteps that they believed to be the ghost. This house actually has a rich and full history, which I won't go into, otherwise it would be the entire stream, which is a lot. There's a lot of history behind the house. I'm not going to go into it. But over the years, actually, the house has changed actually a lot. It's like, I want to say it's one of the oldest houses. It's been a bunch of things over the years. It was their first commercial theater in San Diego. And according to San Diego History, the Journal of San Diego History, it has witnessed more history than any other building in the city. So it's like a huge historical marker, this Whaley House. Oh, this is the guy. Okay, so this guy was actually hung until dead, and then afterwards, this family moved in, and they could hear the footsteps upstairs. Yeah, but it's a huge historical thing. I want to say it's on the 101. I didn't get the rest of the picture, but I believe it's along the 101. But it's a huge deal. So if you're in San Diego, you have the Whaley House. How hung was he? Until dead. So corny, dude. Okay. So the next one is actually a mansion in San Jose. It's known as none other than the Winchester House. That's not the right picture. That's weird that one popped up. The Winchester House. That one's actually from my personal collections. That's so weird that popped up. I don't know why that is. That's so strange. Let me try this again. Let's do the Winchester House. That's not the Winchester House. Where did I put the actual house, dude? Where is it? Is it over here? No. Is it down here? Did I forget to put the actual house? Anyway, the Winchester House. The house was built in 1884, had several alterations over the years. The owner of the house was one Sarah Winchester, this is her, widow of the firearms magnate William Wirt Winchester, this guy right here, who died of tuberculosis in 1881. Both of them were originally from New Haven, Connecticut. The story of Winchester is actually a bit tragic. In 1886, Sarah gave birth to a baby girl named Annie Pardee Winchester. The baby was diagnosed with marasmus, a severe form of malnutrition, and died about a month after being born. I didn't put pictures of it up because it's pretty heinous, but everybody who had this back in the day, they're like skeleton figures. It's pretty bad. It's a bad form of malnutrition. It's rough. Died about a month after being born. Quote, between the fall of 1880 and the spring of 1881, Winchester's mother, father-in-law, and husband died, and she was left with a large inheritance from her husband. Lots of people died in her family. In 1884, her eldest sister Mary died, and Sarah began developing rheumatoid arthritis. Her doctor suggested a warmer and drier climate to help her with her health concerns, so she moved to California in 1885 at the age of 46. So let's count this, by the way. So between the fall of 1880 to 1884, she lost her mother, her father-in-law, her husband, her daughter. Actually, her daughter was in 1866, actually, and her sister. So she lost 5 people within that span. So from 1866 to 1884, she lost a lot of people in 18 years. Yeah, which is wild. How are so many people winding up dead around Sarah? This is the real mystery, dude. The real mystery. Sarah then invited her 3 remaining sisters to come with her to California, which they did. In 1886, she purchased the property from one John Hamm. Yes, that John Hamm. Not that John Hamm. But let's just pretend that she purchased it from the John Hamm. It's actually spelled exactly the same way, by the way. His last name, not his first name. The house was actually named Lilanada Villa. I don't know what that means. Now, is the house actually haunted? This is the actual question. Welcome to the age before modern medicine. This is true. Everybody fucking died from it, but the good thing is when she moved, the warmer, drier climate apparently did help her with her arthritis, which is what they tell a lot of people, I feel like, nowadays. Now, is the house actually haunted? Let's check out some of the... Oh, I do have at least one picture of the house. I must have accidentally deleted mine when I was deleting some of Erwin's. Okay, so this is actually a picture of the house. There is a bunch of theories. What's funny is I feel like a lot of people actually made up their own theories about the house. One of which is that the rooms or the hallways appear to lead to nothing. Extra small staircase steps. Windows with bars on the inside of the house. It's very confusing. We've been in the house, we've toured through here. So there are literally hallways that lead to nothing. You're like, where is this supposed to go? It's just a wall, right? There's a lot of that. A lot of the house is actually, I want to say there was some of the house that was actually still destroyed. The reason being is because a lot of people don't know, there was a massive earthquake in 1906 that severely damaged the home. Entire wings of the house, the chimneys, the balconies, among other additions to the house were destroyed. When it was rebuilt, many of the theories were that the false passages were meant to confuse the ghosts, that they may have roamed the house. The small steps may have been a sign of Sarah's declining health, and the windows may have been built around after the earthquake hit. So basically they rebuilt over the wings, and so some of what used to be the exterior, like where the windows were, they built around that area. So it appears as if, there's like bars on the inside of the house, but it's not actually the case. The smaller footsteps, they believe, is actually because when she got older, she took smaller steps and her bones hurt. And so because of that, the stair steps were built to be much shorter and smaller, so she didn't have to take big steps. So yeah. So there's a chance this house might not actually be haunted at all. It might just be that people have made up their own stories over the years. And that her family actually died because that was life pre-20th century. Everybody just fucking died all the time. It was just what it was. So... It's probably a big part of what actually happened. Every time I think of John Hamm, I think of the Commando pics. He likes to just let it swing. That'd be John Hamm, dude. Pics of him going commando? I was legitimately going to put pics of him going commando, and I was like, maybe this isn't... I probably don't want a picture of his dick in the in the event, I think. So we're not gonna do that. For real though, if you have aging parents, stairs are dead. True, that's true. I think the biggest issue for older people is like falling, right? Like once you fall, it's like you lose years off your, especially if you break your hip, that's years off of your life, right? That's a rough way to go. But yeah, so the famous actor John Hamm sold this woman in the 18th century a house, and she was actually the heiress to the Winchester fortune, by the way. There was also a theory, by the way, that apparently all of the ghosts were because of the guilt. You could apparently people said we heard her screaming in the house or something like that, and that was from the guilt of having sold all these weapons to people, and of all of the people who died from the weapon. She didn't have such guilt. Yeah, she didn't have that guilt. So a lot of it's just stories that people had made up over the years, by the way. Next up, we have to go to Iowa to see, wait for it, dun, 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 the Villisca Axe Murder House. That's right. The Villisca Axe. I don't know if I'm saying that right, by the way. Villisca Axe Murder House? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Do you have a house in Iowa on the list? Oh my god, dude, are you reading my mind? You're reading my mind. On the evening of June 9th in 1912, the Moore family, consisting of Josiah, Sarah, and their 4 kids, Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul, invited 2 of Mary's friends, Ina and Lena, to attend a Presbyterian church event. After the event, the friends and the family returned home between 9:45 p.m. and 10 p.m. The next morning around 7 a.m., a neighbor named Mary Peckham came over to check on the family since they didn't see anyone doing the morning chores around the house. Because people were super nosy like that back in the day, by the way. So this lady just pops over. She's like, I don't hear anyone working here. Is everyone okay? Which is kind of fucked up. What's up, Daddy Cool? Oh, I am saying it right. Okay, cool. So you already knew about this, dude. You already knew about this. Looks like the house from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Bro, does it? It looks pretty ancient, right? There's probably ghosts up in there, bro. So yeah, so this neighbor came over. Where did I leave my notes at here? She let the chickens out and knocked on the family's door without getting an answer. She then called Josiah's brother, Ross Moore here. And if you're asking why I have a picture of Tom from MySpace, when I looked up specifically the individual people on this case, I could not find one picture that had a person's name to it. There was a bunch of pictures. I was like, Ross Moore, and I couldn't find it. I was looking for this guy's picture for like an hour, I'm telling you. So, Tom from MySpace is Ross Moore in this scenario. So, Tom from MySpace shows up. He tried banging on the door, and when he didn't get an answer, used his copy of the house key to enter the home. Ross entered the house as Mary, being the nosy neighbor that she was, waited on the porch. As he entered the guest bedroom just off of the parlor, he found the bodies of Ina and Lena across the bed. Ross immediately told Mary to call Henry Hank Horton. Boop. This guy, Henry Horton. Again, I couldn't find his picture, so I just found this guy, the inventor of Tim Hortons. I think he's the inventor of Tim Hortons, the place where is in Canada or whatever. This is the guy. So we're just gonna pretend like that's the guy, Mr. Horton. Anyway, Henry Hank Horton, who was the primary peace officer of the town, the officer searched the house and found the entire Moore family, plus the 2 siblings that had stayed over, were murdered. Bludgeoned to death. Suspense. Bludgeoned to death. Quote, the murder weapon, an axe belonging to Josiah, was found in the guest room where the Sterlinger sisters were found. End quote. It's about 4 hours from me. I have friends who've gone and stayed the night there. What did they think about it, dude? Was it terrifying? Y'all got some balls? What? That is Tim Horton, a hockey player who started the company. Okay, cool. I got it right. At least I got his picture right. Did he invent Tim Hortons, or is he Kurt Russell from the movie Soldier? He does look like that. He looks exactly like that. God damn, he actually looks exactly like that. That's spot on what he looked like in Soldier. Okay, now, the theory is thus, guys. The theory of the axe murders is thus. The killer or killers started in the master bedroom. Let me get a picture of this house up. Here we go. The killer or killers started in the master bedroom where the parents Josiah and Sarah were sleeping. Josiah got it the worst of anyone in the house. I'm going to put it as nicely as they did in the article because I don't think the wording is quite right. But his face was cut so severely that his eyes were missing. You could even see holes in the ceilings where the killer had lifted the axe to chop into Josiah's face. Basically, they were chopping so aggressively that when they lifted up the axe, the back of the axe would gouge the ceiling. That's how high they lifted the axe before they dropped it into his face as he was sleeping, by the way. Yeah. Sarah would be the next, and also got the blade end of the axe. Everyone else in the house got the blunt end of the axe. Once the killer or killers had finished with the rest of the people in the house, they then went back up to the master bedroom to keep attacking the now dead parents. So they hated Josiah and Sarah for some reason. So basically, immediately started in the master bedroom, killed the guy, killed the girl, went downstairs, killed all the kids, or not downstairs, but the rest of the house killed all the kids, then went back into the master bedroom and kept chopping on the parents. After that, the killer then went into the guest bedroom to kill the visiting sisters. Afterward, a 4-pound slab of bacon was laid next to the murder weapon. Which, why? I have no idea why. Were the killers hungry? They also mentioned something about like a bloody bottle of water and some other food that was untouched. And I'm like, why would you? Untouched food? So was the killers like, they were so tired killing that they had to eat during the killing and then go back to the killing? I don't really understand it, but apparently that was a thing. All right, so the next part I'm not so clear on. It seems like the police had let people in to, quote, see if they could have committed the crime, end quote. And by doing so, completely contaminated the crime scene. So they just were letting people in to be like, did you do it? And if you did it, let me see how you would have done it. O.J. Simpson. Let me just see how you would have done it. Nah, that's not quite right. Get the fuck out of here. And so they completely contaminated the crime scene. Which sounds like every criminal case over the course of history before the 20th century. You just destroyed the crime scene with ridiculous ideas. That was just what the police did. Let me see. Investigators believe that Lena was the only person who wasn't asleep during the murders and found defensive wounds on her. I believe they found axe wounds in her arm as if she was trying to defend herself. She was actually awake. Terrifying. Now, apparently there was a lengthy investigation with the case, but the end result was that no one was ever found guilty in a court of law, and this remains an unsolved mystery, which is why I think that people believe the house is haunted. Also, they killed a fuck ton of people in this house. This house, like many on the list, offers tours, as Hawkeye mentioned earlier, offers tours, and this one even lets you spend the night. The price I found from the official website for the tours was a minimum of $428 for an overnight stay, which is pretty pricey. So bring your wallet. $428 for an overnight stay. You can have between 1 to 6 people. I think it said anything over 6 people, and you pay an extra $75 per head. Yeah. At a certain point, the house does get pretty cramped, but you could just whatever. But just expect you're going to pay around $500 just to stay there for the night. Which, why you'd want to sleep in the house, I don't know, but maybe Hawkeye can tell you why. They didn't have any experiences at the house. Really? Maybe it's just a renovations code. So they're just like taking down walls. Oh, my axe landed in somebody's face. Oh shit. Do we tell anybody about this? Let's just kill everybody in the house, just to be sure. They kill everybody. They're like, you know what? Let's just go back to the parents' room just one more time. Make sure they didn't see anything. That's terrible, dude. This just sent chills down my spine. God damn, that's scary. It is, dude. Oh, you wanted me to ask down the kid's bedroom. I thought you said the kids and the roommates. Everyone hung out at the crime scene and took souvenirs. That's true. That's very true. We had heard about that, everyone, right? But sometimes people just go in, they take a picture, they'll grab shit as souvenirs to be like, see, I was there, I saw the whole thing. You know, the crazy stuff that people do. One person's accounting after having stayed the night was that there were cold spots in the house. They were also able to communicate with the slain children with the strongest paranormal effects in the Blue Room. The Blue Room being the guest room where Ina and Lena were slain. The same person also reported several EVPs. EVPs in this instance is referring to electronic voice phenomenon. So like when you're talking over the radio and fucking Phasmophobia, and then like they come back, it's like they were reported that was happening in the house. So there have been people who've reported stuff in the house. I think they've had a bunch of investigators in the house. I don't know if they've found anything, but you know, it has a pretty heavy body count, so I wouldn't be surprised if anybody got spooked in this house. Some crazy shit probably went down there, man. It was a spectacle when Bonnie and Clyde were showcased dead in their car through the city. Just ahead? I don't know. Maybe you could bring your own head. Maybe it doesn't count as extra, you know what I mean? If you just have the head, it might be fine. To this day, a white Bronco is cursed. I saw someone get a "if I did" license plate. Oh my god, dude, that's great. If I did it, how I would have done it. I love that. Lizzie Borden, the worst school massacre, where they took the bricks home from the school bombing. Yeah. Lizzie Borden was actually one I wanted to add to this list. It was too much research, though. I already done a ton of research on this stuff, guys. You don't understand. We're going to breeze over a lot of this stuff, but still, there was a lot that went into this. Okay. Next up, Our next stop actually has us going to Atchison. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Atchison, Kansas, to visit the Sally House. Dun, dun, dun. I wish I had that sound alert. It's not the most exciting name for a house. The Sally House, it's kind of ridiculous. You'd think it'd be like the Sally Death House, but no, it wasn't that. This house was originally built in the 1800s and apparently got its name from a young girl. Let's scroll down here. Apparently this house belonged to a Dr. Charles Finney, this guy right here, I believe, who held the examination and surgery on the bottom floor of his house, and the family lived upstairs. So he basically ran his entire practice from his house. He did it on the bottom floor. His family lived upstairs. Quote, according to legend, a child named Sally was brought to Dr. Finney's house by her mother for severe abdominal pain. He gave her anesthesia and began emergency surgery as he believed that Sally's appendix was about to rupture. However, he cut into her before the anesthesia had kicked in. As he continued doing surgery, Sally was screaming because she felt the pain and bled out, which ended up killing her. Apparently, many cases of paranormal activity have been reported there, and most of them being specifically male. Was that picture taken mid-Thanos? Let's see this thing. He's just fading into existence. It does kind of look like it. Kind of looks like he's fading away. Shh. This was Nick Fury. This is what happened to Nick Fury. Thanks for including Iowa. I got you, bro. Sazandra, what's up, Sazandra? I love America because even Americans can't pronounce half their small town names. They're kind of fucked up, dude, right? It's where the wussies live. You being a real salad boy. Real salad boy. Getting that license plate on a Bronco is a thing many people won't get, but ones who do will be speechless. Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. So, some of them have reported being scratched until bled, and have named Sally, quote, the man-hating ghost, unquote. Since the 90s, this house has been in several paranormal television shows, and this is another house that you can pay in to stay overnight. I don't know why people do this, but this is a thing that people do. Let's scroll up here so you guys can see this one more time. Depending on the season, the cost is about $125 to $150 per person with a 2-person minimum. So you're looking at $250 to $300 per stay, at least at a minimum. That's what you're looking at. People who live close to the house have reported demons, and some say that they have bruises on them. Just by being near the house. I can't confirm any of those. It could be just internet people saying shit like, I live close to the house and I've got bruises. Because the next thing I saw after that was somebody saying, maybe you should just move. But I don't know. I don't know if that's actually true. But apparently it's very supernatural if you're male. Because I'm assuming the story goes, she hates men because it was a guy who operated on her. Gave her anesthesia, didn't quite kick in, did surgery on her, she's screaming in pain, she died, I hate all men type of thing. So that is the Sally House. The Sally House, guys. I'd live in that house if they gave it out for free. Would you? Let me ask you something. I don't know how close this is, but the tree seems like it's almost directly in front of the front door, right? Isn't that wild? I feel like this tree probably shouldn't be directly in front of the front door. Maybe move this bitch like over here or something. Yeah, it's kind of more annoying than anything else. Okay. Our last stop today on our haunted house trip takes us to Harrisville, Rhode Island. There's a farmhouse there that was built in 1736, and it's believed that there are spirits of native tribes that are embedded, quote, embedded, in the land itself and persist to this very day. This house is known as the Old Arnold Estate, but you may know it as the Conjuring House. That's right, we had it in here. The Conjuring House. In 1971, the Perron family, consisting of Roger and Carolyn Perron and their 5 daughters. 5 daughters, by the way. People used to just have so many kids, bro. Moved into the house, and they were constantly visited by ghosts. According to a USA Today article, Andrea Perron, who is the oldest of the parent girls, says that the family lived in the house from 1971 to 1980. During that time, she says that, quote, while many spirits in the house were harmless, some, like one called Bathsheba, were angry. Whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself to be the mistress of the house, and she resented the competition my mother posed for that position, end quote. A demon that was like, I don't like you being the matriarch in this house. I claim it. That was the real evil in the house. Dun, dun, dun. Dude, I could not find that sound anywhere on the internet. I was so upset. I wanted to find that just for this thing. You may think that if a house is haunted, that the family would flee immediately, which would probably make the most sense. But according to Andrea, she believed that they were meant to endure the experience and, quote, share it with the world, end quote. She also said that the family avoided the cellar, which was a hot spot for spirits. However, when the house's heating equipment would fail, Roger, the patriarch of the family, would go down into the cellar to make repairs. While downstairs, he would feel a cold, stinking presence behind him. Dan! Bathsheba. This was Bathsheba from the movie, apparently. Dan! Yada, 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 yada. Now, from what I gather from this article, was that the Warrens didn't really get involved until 1974. The Warrens being the famous Ed and Lorraine Warren. Except they didn't really look this gorgeous. This is actually what they look like. Not quite a resemblance, but you know. Let's just pretend they look like this. The very good-looking family from The Conjuring. Where was I? Anyway, Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators who were the main characters of the Conjuring films. The exorcism part of the film may or may not have actually happened, since Lorraine insisted they never would have tried one without a Catholic priest. But during a seance, Carolyn Perrin here was actually possessed. Where did I leave off? Was actually possessed. According to Andrea, the oldest daughter, quote, my mother began to speak a language not of this world in a voice not her own. Her chair levitated and she was thrown across the room, end quote. I actually have some references here in case you guys want to look into any of this stuff. We're going to look at the Conjuring House stuff just briefly to look at some of the stuff that's offered at the Conjuring House. According to the actual Conjuring House website, the house is considered to be one of the most active paranormal locations in the world. It was open to the public in 2019, and thousands of visitors, the site claims. Did I not post I didn't post the actual quote. Why didn't I post the quote? Where was it? Do I still have it? Oh, shit. Okay, I guess I didn't post the quote. But anyway, the site claims that thousands of visitors have witnessed paranormal activity inside of the house. They've say all kinds of things. I hear noises, I see things moving, all kinds of shit. It's a very, very active house. I think if you want to go extra scary, we need some South American haunted house mass murder serial killer houses. I told people, if you want to add houses, you got to add them in there, but nobody added any in there, so I just had to find what I could find. So we mostly did the US. Here's the thing, I wanted to add more houses, but the problem is that a lot of the houses I saw, they were sold as haunted houses, but none of them were really based off of anything. They were a lot like the Sally house, where it was like, they were just like, I saw spooky happenings, but there's no, like, they're like, I saw a spooky happening because this one person died there a long time ago and now their spirit roams, but there's no record of anyone actually dying there. There's no pictures of anyone dying there. There's no real articles. It's all pure speculation. So a lot of them I had to just be like, I can't use this, I can't use this, I can't use this. Because I was actually going to put up about 10. I bypassed at least more than that. Because a lot of them were just pure speculation. These were the only ones I could find that actually had like people dying or like accountings of actual paranormal activity. So it's hard, bro. It's hard to get this to be accurate. Apparently it's still active. My friend won't visit it. What, this house? Why don't we just burn this house? burn this horror house down. That's a good, I feel like it's one of those things where it's a huge part of history, and so people are like, we can't get rid of it. It's a cultural thing. Especially when you can make money off of it, which I find is often the case. I feel like a lot of these properties get bought up by people who are looking to make money off of it, and they charge an arm and a leg, which I'm going to talk about in a second for this house. So they offer tours here, investigations, and even camping on the site, which can be on the actual website for this house. Which can be done from June to October. Bring your wallets, though, because the tents start at $300 a night, which we saw with the other houses where it was like, if you want to stay, it's a minimum of 2 people, and it's like $50 per person. So again, it's like $300 a night regardless, which you make some good money, I feel like. It's basically hotel fees. There's a lot to do in the house, apparently, and if you're a fan of the paranormal, there doesn't seem to be a shortage of activities. Looks like one of the homes in Phasmo. This does look like one of the cabins in Phasmo. It does. Yeah, for sure, for sure. It kind of looks like Grafton. I'll be real. I don't believe in ghosts because if they were real, the battlefields in France and Germany and other parts of Europe would have been like fucking 50 plus ghosts per square foot. That's true. Civil War probably would have had a heavy ghost field as well. Okay, so we are going to check out the website before we move on to some Phas, y'all. Let's look at the website because I wanted you guys to kind of see some of the events possible from the Conjuring House. They have like special events, they have tours, investigations. So I guess they give you like ghost hunting equipment. This is, I think, they put GHO in a lot of stuff to mean ghost. So ghost events. Gallery events. Wait, I think they should have a camping thing somewhere in here. There it is. So gamping, basically meaning ghost camping, is the thing that I was talking about, and of course private events. If you look here, they actually have like different tents that they give you. Different sizes for tents. And so here's the cost, basically. Abduction chamber tent. Sleeps 3 people, costs $300 a night. Light dancer tent and the galactic gaze tent. But yeah, you're right off of the house. You can camp outside of the house. You can have marshmallows. It looks like you can grill too, bro. But yeah, there's a lot to happen there. Guys, let me know what you thought of the event, by the way. I know it went quickly, but you have to understand, I have like 3.5 pages of just writing notes on these things, and it takes a lot of time to do. If anyone wants to do anything like this in the future, give me some houses to look at, please. It's so much work on my end. So I hope you guys enjoyed some of that at least. You know, here's something I didn't know. I didn't know about that axe murder house. The fact that like 6 people died in a house to an axe, and then they went back for seconds to re-kill the fucking parents, dude, which is insane to me. I didn't know there was a ghost house where there was basically like a woman hating, like a man hating girl ghost. That's the thing. It was kind of crazy. And also the Conjuring House, it's funny because a lot of the skeptics were like, about the Conjuring House were like, Lorraine and Ed like to spin tales about their things, and sometimes they get carried away with their tales, and they really believe it. And it's hard to tell, because apparently the family that was there, the Parsons or whatever their family name was, they believe it. They believe that it happened. They believe that some actual shit went down, that her mom got possessed. If you've heard from The Conjuring, like in the actual Conjuring movies, they have like a special scenes thing. If you get like the, I don't know, like the DVD, whatever people watch. Do people watch Blu-rays and DVDs anymore, or is it all digital? Anyway, with that thing, if you buy it, there's like a thing where they have the actual noises that the recordings of the woman speaking in that voice, and you can hear it. It's really eerie, dude. It's really eerie shit. Whether or not it's real, that's up to you to decide. That's up to you.